Let's move to a question about guns. You are all supporters of the Second Amendment, and you do not think more gun laws will help curb violence. But is there a bill that Congress could pass that might prevent another school shooting? And first to you, Mayor Hansel.
I'm sure there might be a bill to address safety concerns at schools, but the Second Amendment is very clear. I am a gun owner, I'm a shooter, and I don't believe in any new restrictions on firearms at the federal level.
Ms. Tang Williams.
Well, one of the basic Bill of Rights I really love is our Second Amendment, very dear to my heart. Consider 1.4 billion Chinese in my native country are disarmed and under total lockdown. My first article I ever published in this country called Guns Against Tyranny and talk about Tiananmen Square students were mowed down by the tanks. If Chinese people had the guns, they would fight the tyranny. So that's very dear to my heart. I want to repeal all unconstitutional gun control laws.
Mr. Burns.
National reciprocity, and we need to make it so that individuals who are law-abiding citizens can be able to buy guns in places like Chicago and Baltimore. Also, I think, Republicans love to say mental health, but they don't give a lot of specifics. We need to get kids off the internet, the TikTok and everything else. We have to stop bombarding them with 20 hours a day of the news and everything else that's just showing these violent crimes over and over again.
Follow up on the gun issue. Mr. Burns, if elected, would you support federal legislation to fund the arming and firearms training of teachers to make them their own protectors of classrooms?
So, the thing is I think that a private industry, the NRA, would actually come in and do that without federal funds. I would definitely help to encourage it. I hate the idea of looking at something and just because it's my special interest, I want to dump federal money into it. But I wouldn't be against it. It's something I could probably go either way on, but I think it's something that we could partner up with private people like Sig Sauer and NRA, who I think would be happy to put money in there because they're going to sell more guns.
All right, Mayor Hansel, would you support funding the arming and training of teachers?
No. I mean, there are things we need to address with school safety. Right now, we're taking better care of money in banks than we are students in school. That's a problem that everyone should be concerned about, and there are likely things we can do to make our schools more safe and make sure that students, when they go to school, are focused on learning, and that parents, when they drop their kids off, are very confident that they'll be picking up their kids safe and sound at the end of the day.
Ms. Tang Williams, same question to you.
I would like to see federal government become smaller and more limited in their powers and cost, and give back to the local communities. Let them decide if we repeal gun-free zones and unconstitutional gun control laws. Local private people will step in to decide what is the best way to keep our community safe and keep our students and teachers safe. A lot of people carry concealed, like our constitutional carry, and the trained teacher volunteer to carry. That's a great idea locally.